button over there.
Press the button. How many engineers does it take to turn on a motor?
Good try, Noel.
Projector's on now too, Dan.
There you go.
Okay, can everybody hear me? We took bids last week on March 28th for the tennis court, parking lot, and pickleball courts. We got 4 bids. We set up the contract to be a base bid for the tennis courts, an alternate bid for the parking lot, and an alternate bid for the pickleball court. Our apparent low bidder was a total of all bids, the base bid and the 2 alternates was T.A. Robinson in the amount of $226,243.75. Now, since we set the project with base bid and alternates, we have language in there. We reserve the right to add or to award the base bid and any of the alternates. So in the lower portion of my memo that I gave you option 1, award the tennis court base bid and alternates 1 and 2, which would be everything for $226,243.75. You had option 2, just to award the tennis courts and the pickleball courts. That gives you an amount of $169,992.50, and then incorporate the parking lot into a future payment maintenance program, or just award the tennis court and the parking lot for a total of $201,677.25. It's your option as to how you want to proceed with the award. You have that flexibility the way we structure the contract.
Or you can award it with just the tennis courts.
Or you can work with, yeah, that's right.
Is this with the township taking all tennis
Courts out?
Yes, it is.
Maybe we see to get a motion in a second, and then we got discussion.
I make a motion that we table it. I just don't think that at this point we're prepared to spend $165,000 or over $200,000 on the tennis courts. And I know, I've been the biggest advocate of this, that something needs to be done, but I think we need to take a step back and figure out what exactly that is as a board before we proceed. So that would be.
Have a table motion.
I'd rather further discussion. Joe, with removing the pickleball courts and just doing a tennis courts alone, where are we at price-wise?
$145,426.
In the first place we had to pick for pickleball courts, they're telling me we can't put them there because there's a gas line right away.
That's correct.
That's
Is
correct.
that right, Bill?
Yes, we do one call.
Okay.
There's a gas line.
Yeah, and I never really intended this for the parking lot to be associated and tied in with the tennis courts. I think we need to separate them and maybe move forward on the tennis courts alone. Because the further we wait into the season, like I said before, time this is let out and the construction done, tennis season's, over.
I don't remember offhand, what was the price for just the tennis courts without the parking lot?
145.
It's $145,426.
For just the
Just
tennis?
the tennis courts, yeah.
And that's 2 tennis courts
That's 2 tennis
with the
courts.
concrete perimeter, how we talked about.
Yes, and the new fence.
That includes the fence?
Yes, that includes the
Yeah.
fence.
What was the pricing for the fence separate from the actual concrete? Is there any, you said 36,000?
36.
So, Bill, while he's looking that up, who selected
Hold on,
the,
I have one more question related to the fence. So $39,000 to $40,000. So is there a way to take down and paint or repair the current fence? I was just over there the other day. It's not in that terrible condition. Could we, $40,000 is a lot of money for fencing around a tennis court. So you're talking $100,000, which is in line with what we anticipated for the tennis courts. I could vote for that. Can we repair or utilize the fence that we already have?
Sure you can. I think you probably the only thing you'd have to pay for is maybe some new upright posts, because you probably don't damage the upright post, pulling out the footings with that. You might be able to salvage the rails and the fabric.
Go ahead.
There's a safety hazard within the court right now.
Right.
The light standards are inside the fence,
Right.
not outside the fence.
So I'd like to make a motion that we do the tennis court and utilize to the best of our ability the current fence. And then we can actually move forward and allow our residents to use the tennis courts and save a significant amount of money. That would be my
Motion?
motion.
So we remove, we get not a second on the,
One second. Bill, are you saying that the light standards are inside the fence?
They are inside the fence.
So they need to be moved outside or the fence
The
moved
fence needs to be
inside?
moved inside the light standards.
But that's possible. I mean, if we're taking them out in order to pave the fence, isn't there a way to adjust the fencing so that,
Who's going to move the fencing inside the limits of the light posts, so they would be outside the fencing?
The
Right.
question, Joe, is could you reuse the same
Yes.
fence
Sure.
while doing
yes.
it? Yeah,
So
you have
we-
to take the concrete off the base of it and then evaluate the condition once they're removed. Because you don't know, because they're old, so I don't know what is below grade as far as
the concrete off the base of the lights?
off the base of the tennis
Fence
courts.
posts.
Well, if we, I mean,
You may have
fence,
some fence posts, and you have some
that's
posts.
fine.
Yeah, so if you go by it, you
That's fine.
so we have an amended motion to just do the court itself. Do we have a second on just that?
I second that.
First and a second.
Yes,
good.
sorry.
Dan?
Hold on, Dan's leaving.
Now we can have discussion.
Go ahead, Dan, I have a question for you too.
Yeah, I think, why don't you give us just a second to analyze the bids, because I think what the supervisors are asking is to award the contract for the base bid for whoever's the lowest part of the project. We have to watch ourselves in terms of the fence, because if we
Right.
take the fence out,
Right, that's what I was gonna ask, was this bid drafted in a way that you can remove line items like that? And is this low bidder still a low bidder if you remove that line item? So that would require just additional review.
you're significantly changing the scope of work of the bid.
Exactly, right, and I'm not sure, I think these, my understanding, and I haven't even seen these yet, but these were just 3 packages, 3 alternates that could be awarded separately or all together, or in any combination. Right, but not necessarily
To remove.
removing portions of one of the packages.
So I could move this to the end of the meeting? Would that give you enough time? Is that what you're after?
I need to, we either have to rebid it, or if T.A. Robinson was the lowest responsible bidder, even if the fence was taken out, I'll defer to you, solicitor. But if they were willing to negotiate a change order for reduce on the fence.
Right, and I'm not sure how that's gonna go down. That seems like a significant portion of their bid, and I'd probably be more comfortable rebidding it if that's the way you guys wanna do it. But I'd like
Can
to
we
think
make
about
that
that
tentative
too.
motion, have this rebid out, and as long as it comes in within $5,000 of what we're thinking, we move forward rather than waiting yet again until May?
You're still going to pay somebody to put all the fence back up. So that's part of Tom's bid. His thing was to put up all new fence, right?
Yes. Insulation. The Department of Public Works was gonna remove Yule.
So I'll make another amended motion. I make amended motion that pending solicitor review, we award this bid for just the tennis court utilizing the existing fence. If we need to rebid, as long as the bid comes in within $5,000 of what it is now, we can move forward without voting again,
So that's the 145 minus the 42,000 or so,
minus 39.
39?
39,000.
So I'd say as long as it comes in under $110,000, we move forward.
Okay, I understand.
So that would be the motion. Do we have a second on it? Do you follow her logic? Do we have a second and we can have additional discussion?
I'll second that.
All right, we have a second. Now, discussion, or was it hesitancy, or do you have any other thoughts or ideas, Frank?
You know, what did we have budgeted? Does anybody know? Cindy, what was
200,000.
No, initially there's $100,000 budgeted for the tennis courts. Now, there's additional monies in Parks and Rec, but if we utilize, there's between $170,000 and $200,000 in that account. If we utilize that extra money, then if we would consider a park in Lawrence, which I know has been talked about, or other projects, we're blowing our entire Parks and Rec budget on one project. So that would be for this board to decide.
Any other comments on discussions? I wanted to ask Bill, who selected the location for the pickleball, or this is the first I heard of the location that, is it you that selected it?
I didn't select it, I suggested it.
I see.
Yes.
And that suggestion was shot down because there's a pipe
Yes,
there.
we did a design one call and discovered that there was a gas line within that area, so.
It gives you an idea though, Eric, I mean, the numbers were all pretty well in line. You're gonna spend anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000 on a pickleball court once you decide what you're gonna put it in.
And
You
again,
didn't
like,
really know where they were gonna come in bid wise.
and again, is that us doing the prep work or Stone?
No,
No,
They're doing everything?
that was all inclusive.
If we're gonna run that back out to bid, do we have the capabilities, Bill, to do that? To prep it, to remove the topsoil and put down stone?
I don't have the manpower to do that.
Okay.
Dan, that court, could it be repaired? Could it be saw cut out of there, that space and repaired?
For the cracks, we looked at that, and it was
quite expensive drawing. I think the other thing that we came up with is there's too much fall on that court. There's like 8 inches from the road, from the north run end down towards the creek. So that one thing we were doing with this redesign and reconstruction is to get it at 1.5%, so it will be relatively flat, like it should be.
Okay.
it's playing lopsided. You get one side, you're gonna play better than the other.
It's, the nature of the project up there is such that you currently have a defect in the asphalt pavement. If you were to try to repair that and then top that, there's no guarantee that that crack wouldn't show up in some form based on the type of repair that you performed on that surface. A year or two down the road from the result of pre-salt that might take place. So, and then when you're spending probably between $18,000 and $20,000 on a surfacing for that.
Yeah.
So,
But could we utilize, if we're gonna utilize the same fence, $25,000 or $20,000 is half the cost? And, you know, I had never honestly heard of pickleball until Supervisor Sabatic brought it up, but it actually, from what I understand, it's very popular. So could we utilize some of those funds and say, you know, say under $140,000, get the tennis court repaired, utilize our current fence, and still be able to put a pickleball court in? And then still have funds left to spend on another park in Lawrence or Hendersonville or wherever.
well, let me just speak to the condition of the existing fabric that's on that fence up there, the wire fabric. There are various stages of disrepair in that link fence right now. So there's a portion of it is going to have to be replaced. The actual percentage or square area that needs to replace the fence, I don't know. I don't know how much of it is salvageable and how much is not. I know there's some very bad areas of the fence.
Okay, so just to be clear then, if we're talking about reusing the fence to the extent that we can, you all would need to do some kind of analysis on how much of that fence can even be salvaged, because that would be part of the new bid. If 50% could be saved, then someone would need to rebid reuse of 50% and then putting in 50%, the rest as new. That's all new information, I think, that would need to be known for a rebid on this, you know, if it couldn't be renegotiated.
I just hate to wait until, like, by the time we rebid it, we're not meeting again until the beginning of May. But if we wait to vote on this again until the beginning of May, then you're talking May and June, you're having the tennis court, you're gonna have the tennis courts closed in the prime time that it's used.